We're glad to have you back. It's still TVC Breakfast and we're live from our Abuja studio. Let's now move to the main issue of the day. As the countdown to the 2027 general election begins, Nigeria's political landscape is heating up in what analysts are calling a wave of defections. Politicians across party lines are switching allegiances, a move that is reshaping alliances and raising questions about loyalty, ideology and power play ahead of the high-stake election. Now it's barely 2 years to the next general election. The atmosphere is already charged. From the state houses to the National Assembly, defections have become the new political currency. Barely 24 hours ago, high-profile politicians, including state lawmakers, former S7 governors, plus former ministers have jumped ship, abandoning their old parties for new platforms they believe will secure their political future. While some politicians cite ideology differences or internal party disputes, critics argue that the defections are largely driven by ambition and political survival, not genuine concern for the electorate.
The ruling party has welcomed several new defectors, while the opposition is also consolidating, aiming to present a united front in 2027. Now, smaller parties are seizing the moment to attract influential figures and boost their relevance. But Nigerians watching from the sidelines are skeptical. Many feel the defections reflect self-interest, not commitment to better governance. They are of the view that it's the same politicians moving from one party to another. However, what Nigerians are demanding for is fresh ideas, not recycled faces. Now, with the 2027 elections drawing nearer, the wave of defections is expected to continue, shifting the political tide in unpredictable ways. Will these moves lead to real change or simply more of the same? Time and Nigerian voters will decide. But before the election proper, let's set the ball rolling as we have two gentlemen on the program for a more extensive conversation. Joining us via Zoom is the APC National Publicity Secretary, Felix Morka. While here in the studio, we have the National Coordinator, PDP Youth Frontier, Usman Okai Austin. Thank you both for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, Mr. Austin,
yes, sir.
The PDP, some persons say, seem to be hemorrhaging at this time. The last count, the entire structure of your party in Delta State moved into the APC. For the APC, it's a gain. For you, it's a loss. How do you want to reflect on this?
You know, we are used to it. You know, it's becoming a norm as far as Nigerian politics is concerned. Yes, we regret what happens in Delta State. And as you can see, Nigerian reaction is completely different. Why the Harvesting Party, which is the ruling party, is celebrating, but Nigerians are saying, what are they bringing different? But just as the former governor of Kwara State said, the PDP, this will create an opportunity for the party to reject itself, reappraise itself, reassess, and then think of the next way forward. So there's nothing new. Why some are leaving and others are coming? I can tell you authoritatively. Look at Delta. Somebody like Ned Nwoko left because the governor sheriff promised Okowa of the Senate ticket where he comes from. But today, the Okowa has gone to APC. Is Ned Nwoko coming back? Obioma Agege, who said he can't stay in the same place with Governor Sheriff. They have all but I can tell you authoritatively that the like of Obioma Agege, the like of Ned Nwoko and co are likely be on their way.
But your party, the PDP, seems not to be able to get over its internal squabbles.
Yes. It is a crisis. And you can't take, even in APC,
let's talk about your party.
The only advantage they have is they have they have the power of presidency.
Well, Mr.
Now,
Austin,
you can't take away internal crisis from any point. Look at the just SDP. You are hearing the altercation between El-Rufai and those that were there before. The former candidate of the party, presidential candidate, was challenging the El-Rufai. They will not use their platform for it. You can't take away internal crisis from any political party.
Well, Mr. Austin, let's not sugarcoat anything here. Your party is in crisis and defections are happening fast and loud. What is really going on inside the PDP? And would you say that, your party has a control of things?
No, the party is losing it. That is the reality. The leadership has failed. Those who contested for the last election, like our presidential candidate, has failed to provide the immediate presidential candidate of a party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, with due respect to him, has failed to provide leadership for. How can you say you have Obi in 2023 who left you and contested against you? Obi sabotaged a lot in the Atiku becoming the presidential, winning the election. And now you have Okowa, the one that is the real reason for the crisis that is consuming the party today. It is Okowa nomination against Wike now. It's not where the whole crisis started from. That is where the whole the crisis that is consuming the party today started from. And today you have Okowa now going on the same page with Wike. Though Wike has not officially become, but they are now working for who? The President and Commander-in-Chief, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. So there is a lack of leadership, and that is the reality. And one must admit to that the current leaders of the PDP have failed the party. That is the reality.
Are we seeing a slow collapse of the main opposition right before the 2027?
It can't collapse. Other people are coming up. Why these current leaders are failing, the new leaders are coming up. I am coming up as one of the leaders of the party, and so many of us are coming up. So I think by the time we have our national convention coming September, all these things will be addressed. The new leaderships will come in, and the new idea will be mainstream, and the party will have the way forward.
Okay. Felix Morka, if you're there with us. Felix Morka.
How are you?
Okay, yeah, nice having you here. Now, the APC is reaping where the PDP seem to be losing. Now, what are those things you think are making the APC attractive to politicians?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Well, the APC today, clearly, in comparison to all of the other parties in the opposition, is holding its own. Our party is standing very strong and resilient, even in the face of, enormous pressures, both internal and external. And that's, what a party should be. A political party shouldn't be that entity that is without its own internal challenges. But I think what matters is how it deals with it, how the party manages those, contradictions or internal contradictions or conflicts of interests, which is, natural to, every institution, especially a political party that's an agglomeration of people who, may have diverse interests and, from diverse backgrounds.
Well, Mr. Morka,
I just listened to your guest, reference the problem in the PDP, and he reducted it to the, Atiku's nomination of, Senator Okowa, the former governor of Delta State, rather than, the FCT minister Wike. That's not the problem. The problem was Atiku's, I think, obdurate refusal to abide by the convention of his own party and by, its constitution. He had no business running for that election when under their constitution, a certain candidate was mandated as, under the rotational agreement to run. He was the one who created the problem. So it wasn't his nomination. He himself was, at the root of the problem that the PDP is facing today.
All right, Mr. Morka, let's come back to the defection. The APC is openly celebrating these latest defections, even boasting that there is more to come. But at what cost? How does draining the opposition of its big players help democracy rather than weaken it?
Look, there is no democratic idea or norms or system anywhere in the world where a party, a ruling party, is under obligation to build the opposition. Parties are in business to compete for power. That's what they are supposed to do. That's the idea behind, a democratic system and any democratic system. So this idea, this suggestion that, people come into APC, therefore APC is undermining democracy. That is ridiculous. There's no such thing.
With the look of things, people have raised concerns that the country is gradually moving towards a one-party state, and that may be injurious to the democracy that we now currently enjoy.
I am answering your question. Let me finish that, because the question you asked before is the same as this one.
Yes,
you see,
I'm just
the point I'm making is that every political party, whether ruling party or opposition, is in it to compete for power and to govern and to serve. Those are the three, major essence of political parties. So, there's nowhere in the world you never hear that the Democratic Party, sets up a committee on how to strengthen the Republican Party. There's no such thing. Nobody does that. The Republican Party is a party. They bear their own duty in a democracy to strengthen themselves and to position themselves to, enable those who come in there to stay and to, compete for, whatever it is, advance their interests. That is what parties do. So, we can't come to Nigeria and transmogrify the idea of democracy to impose on the ruling party the duty. Now, let me ask you, for 16 years, the PDP was the ruling party in this country. And at a point, the PDP governed Nigeria with 27 governors. How many governors do we have as APC today in Nigeria?
Okay, Mr. Moka, we'll come back to you.
I never saw or read any pushback that the PDP was,
Yeah, Mr. Moka, we'll come back to you. Just hold your thoughts there. Now, Mr. Austin, the PDP seem to lack the power to sanction those you said are causing trouble. Now, you just identified that Atiku Abubakar. You also talked about Minister Wike. Why is it that you have an NWC, you have a NEC that have refused to? They just put that one side. Then there was this crisis in Rivers State where your own governor was in crisis. Your own party, NWC, did not come out to take a position for him. Now, you failed to sanction, and that is the problem.
Yes, that is where you heard some of us say there was a complete infiltration. And why we are not trying to blame that ruling party, APC, infiltrates our party, just as Saraki said, it will at the point where those who want to leave should leave the party. You can't even say who is who now. And I said it earlier in my intro, that the current NWC of the party has failed the party. And that is where we are. Their inability to take a decision, their inability to act where they're supposed to act, and their inability to name and shame those people that are directly practicing at the party, that is weakening the party. And that is where the crisis is.
So you will never get over it.
We will. We are waiting for their tenure to come to an end by the end of this September. You can't, just as even the respected spokespersons of APC admitted that there is no party without its own internal scrabble or crisis. But how you manage it is what matters most. APC has their own. You have El-Rufai that is going to SDP right away. And so many of them, I mentioned about Ovio Magege, they are also big wigs. So this issue is too early. PDP is facing it now. APC may likely also. Because while some people are coming in, there will be internal tussle, who get who, and that is all. It's not about just going to APC. Some of them are going there to protect their own interest. Some of them are going there for what they want. Some of them are going there for they can achieve one thing or the others. So it is not yet over. And I can tell you authoritatively, between now and next 2027 election, there's still time for the party to regroup, rejig itself, and reapproach the coming election.
Well, Mr. Moka, I'd like to come to you. There's a growing concern that some of these defections are not by choice, but they are by coercion. And some even say blackmail. If we take a look at a previous statement by Senator Oshiomhole, he once said, "Join the APC and your sins are forgiven." Doesn't this statement alone cast a shadow over the integrity of these moves? And how can the APC deny that it is turning itself into a political refuge for compromised politicians?
Before I answer your question, let me just respond quickly to your guest. I know he's mentioned Senator Mwagege a few times, almost suggesting that because of the incoming PDP leaders into our party, somebody like Senator Mwagege, the former Deputy Senate President, may be thinking of, look, please, jettison that. That's not, the case. And, I don't think it's also fair to make such allusions of a man that you have not heard from. He didn't say that to you. He didn't say that to anybody. And he is firmly and deeply committed to our party. I know that. I'm from Delta, as I'm sure you know. And, I know him quite well. That's not the case. But to come back to your question, again, look, this question is related to the previous question that you asked. APC is doing nothing to, to cajole or compel or, force anyone to join our party. But even the question itself, I think it's condescending. For you to think, or for anyone to think that the governor of Delta State and the, former governor of Delta State and all of the, members of the National Assembly who are, of the party and the state and local government and all the leaders in Delta who have decided to move in, that collectively, the totality of all of them, were blackmailed or were forced or were cajoled. That is actually insulting to the personalities of those who are coming into the party. You must give them the credit that they are, eminent citizens who have the power on their own to decide their own political direction. So please, I think we should tame this conversation in that regard, because I think it's wrong. Look, the point is, I speak for my party, and I can tell you categorically that we have done nothing to suggest, that there's any untoward.
Mr. Moka, I would say that is not my own position. That is the position of the public. I'm just throwing the question to you. It's my duty to ask you a question and you defend it if it's in your own position to do that. So it's not my position. That's the position of public knowledge. So you can go ahead. Go ahead if you want to ask.
Yeah, just like I was actually trying to make that clarification. But before I come back to you, I just want to raise something with Mr. Austin. Austin, there seems to be a window now for the PDP, the coalition.
Yes.
That Atiku is already championing. Unfortunately, the Governors Forum is saying no to that. So, do you think PDP as it is today, it's 2 years, it's just down the corner, the PDP can really present any meaningful opposition to the APC? Won't you just think that this coalition might just be the way out for the APC?
We were there. We have been in power, and we are in opposition, and we know what it takes to destroy a party. The worst of it is where the crisis started from inside. There are so many people that are in APC today that are not committed to the AP re-election. It's not about announcing the campaign. We saw what happened. We were there. And just as I said, for 16 years. And when you see some people leaving PDP to APC, the National Secretary said that they are like Jehovah's Witness, that they go around harvesting people. Fine. And that shows that if the leaderships of PDP are now good to be embraced and be celebrated in APC, that shows it's also a part of vote of confidence on what the PDP has done in 16 years. It's unfortunate we have reduced democracy to mere the campaign and those and that. This is the time we should be calling the ruling party to give account of their political manifesto. Back to what you are saying. Back to what you are saying. I see the Governors Forum is tradition in PDP. That the Governor Forums is strong organs of the party, well acknowledged, and they are very influential. When they say that they are not joining any coalition, PDP is not about Atiku Abubakar. We don't know who and who he consulted in the party before he starts speaking about the coalition. And apart from talking about coalition, after the governor issued a statement that they are not aware or they are not part of the discussed coalition, SDP is the first party that issued that statement. Are you expecting a bigger party like PDP to go to SDP, cap in hand and begging for coalition? What was discussed? When you were talking of power sharing, there should be talk of power sharing. Which party is going to produce the presidential candidate? Which party is going to produce the vice president? Which party is going to produce the national chairman when we are to form a coalition? These things are not deliberated. You expect people, a party like PDP, to sit down in Ibadan and say they are okay for coalition? Who and who did? Is it about Atiku alone? And when the Governors Forum rejected that, I was expecting Atiku Abubakar to reapproach them, pay a visit to one of these governors 1 hour, and play politics with it. But the statement said that the coalition train has left the station. Which station? I don't know you get it now. But we can't throw it away.
We are running out of time. So
by the time some of these people leave, the remnant of the party can still discuss coalition. But the approaches and the way they are going about it is not helping the party. Thank you.
Yeah, there are whispers and some pretty loud ones that the Delta State governor is being pressured to dump the PDP. Is your party doing enough to protect its leaders from external political intimidation?
What instrument does opposition have to protect its member? You know how Nigeria works. If truly this man, there was...
Can I remind you the instruments you have?
Yes.
When the Rivers State governor had crisis, the NWC of your party did not stand for him.
Yes, that is why I'm saying and I asked you earlier that there was an alleged infiltration. You are aware of the leadership crisis of Damagu and co of being loyal to the FCT minister, who is the current administration, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. With respect to him, there was such an allegation, and he has come up to distance himself from that. And if so, that means there's also a leadership problem, which I said the current leader has failed, including Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who's supposed to provide leadership for the party as immediate presidential candidate of a party. I don't know if you get it now. So I have addressed that earlier. And I can tell you authoritatively on the issue of blackmail. It's already in the public view, in the court of public opinion. It's all over the paper. And some leadership of the party has come up that, like Dele Momodu said, that he was blackmailed. I mean,
we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. Sometimes what is in the public might just be mere insinuation. It might not be the fact of matter. Now, Mr. Morka, this is just for you. Now, the APC, like we said earlier, is already reaping from the losses of the PDP. Now, going forward, are you worried about this coalition that the opposition parties are planning to put together? Do you think with an opposition coalition, it might give the APC a tough time in the next election?
We're not worried about that. We have no reason to worry about that. We're only concerned about building our party and, governing as we're doing. Mr. President is doing exactly what he was elected to do, to govern, making difficult decisions to tackle old, enduring problems and to transform them. Those are our primary concern. We have a party to build and, we have the future to face. We have the present, and the opportunity to govern our country and dealing with, all of the endemic generational problems that, the PDP and the rest have created, through the years. So, with that, it's a handful and we can't be bothered by the activities of a few individuals who clearly think that their personal interests supersedes the interest of the country. We don't agree. We don't share that view, and I think that Nigerians obviously see through that. I will not indulge them in any respect.
Let's talk real value. Beyond the headlines and the ceremonies in the APC, are you sure these new members will deliver votes in 2027? Or are you just stockpiling political weight for negotiation purposes?
Well, look, as you know, in elections, individuals vote. So if you are 10 in a party and all of a sudden you are 50, then, that means, at least presumptively, more votes for the party. And these individuals who come, some of the headline names you see, also come with, supporters who are persuaded by, the direction that, they take us as a community of people. So yes, we expect that in Delta, for example, that the move by the governor and, all of those with him will strengthen our party. We create more impetus and energy in the party and hopefully, drive us to victory, in winning and retaining Delta State for our party. And, it's the same everywhere. When you have politics about bringing people together, enlarging your numbers and hopefully have that reflect in the outcome of votes that are cast in any elections.
Well, Mr. Austin, a final question from me. Atiku has confirmed coalition talks are on the way, but let's be honest, the APC looks like the one forming alliances while the PDP is shrinking. Has the coalition idea already lost momentum even before it began?
When you are talking of coalition, it's unfortunate that I am assuming the APC spokesperson is not here. I would have wanted this to be purely a PDP internal affair. You should have a control of the party before you even talk of coalition. I've said it earlier. The Atiku himself has lost control of NWC, the current NWC.
Just make your point.
Now, how are you? It's like a man trying to sell a car when you don't have the document. By the time of payment, they will ask for where is the original document. So the issue of coalition is perhaps maybe it's his own personal structure.
All right.
I don't know, you get it now. So as for the PDP, as it stands today, they are not in coalition talk with any party. I do not speak for the party, but I'm one of the rated profile in the party. I should be aware. I should have the knowledge of it. So there is no any ongoing coalition talk except some people, members of the party, which I see everybody say met some.
Okay, Austin, we must thank you so much for your time with us on the program. It was a delight speaking with you. Mr. Felix Morka, thank you for joining us on the program this morning. That's where we leave the conversation. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, that's where we'll wrap up this conversation this morning. As you all know it, politics never sleeps. But the weekend is here, so rest, refresh, reflect, and, we'll be back next week.
And the conversation continues.
It continues online.